Hey everybody, Big Yankovic here, podcaster, author, and carnivore, and it is time for the big finale video, the What We've Learned, the Post-Mortem for the second 30-day Carnivore Challenge that I did with Marshal Latham. Both of us have some stuff to say as to what happened during the thing, how we improved or had struggles or whatever, and then yeah, we both have something to say. Then nothing. Anyways, we're going to start with Marshall. So we'll go ahead and let him speak, and then I'll come back and I'll give my finale, my final report. All right, so we'll see you guys on the other side of that.
Hey, how's it going? This is Marshal Latham here to talk about kind of the aftermath or the overall sum up of what I've learned over these last well, really the last two Carnivore Challenges, and maybe more specifically the last one. The biggest thing that I felt really good about with the last Carnivore Challenge is I finally cracked what I needed to do to get the intermittent fasting that I wanted to do. That's separate than just eating carnivore. I wanted to get to the point where I was eating in a short window. And I finally cracked the code that I shouldn't eat in the morning. I should put off eating as long as I can. And then it's easier for me to do that than it is to avoid eating in the evening. It probably has to do with my social, with being with my family, and I can eat when they're eating and that kind of thing. If I eat in the morning, early in the morning before I go to work, and then I eat at lunch, and then I don't eat at dinner, then I'm not, my family might be eating dinner, they might be doing stuff, and I'm not. And so, it could be that, it could just be my body works better, and it's easier for my body to skip eating breakfast and just eating later in the day. I don't think that's a universal thing. It probably works for somebody else different than it works for me. But I was really encouraged. I mean, those last 2 weeks, I was pretty much dialed in. There was nothing, really I had to plan what I was going to eat and to know kind of what was in the fridge and what I needed to get and prepare food ahead of time. But other than that, I mean, it was just no thought about it. Just, okay, I'm eating lunch now. Okay. When I get home, I'm probably going to fry up some eggs or cook, whatever. So, that was kind of a revelation for me. And yeah, it really kicked in. I really started to do well. So, and I've continued to do pretty well since the challenge. I kind of wanted to wait a little bit and not do a video right after I was done with the second challenge, because I wanted to see how the next few days went. And I can't say I've been perfect. I have had some ice cream in there, and I have got a little bit more keto. I've brought in those almonds again and had some almonds, but it's not like something I'm driven to do. So if I were to say, okay, no more almonds, I wouldn't have to go back to doing that. So that's been encouraging. The ice cream was just a indulgence, I guess, but it's not something that I'm going to go back to all the time. So, but I just wanted to let you know that there's still temptations out there for me. It's not like I've completely gotten rid of those things, and I probably never will, right? I mean, it's like being an alcoholic and not being able to safely drink. Being a sugar addict is the same thing. So those temptations will always be there, and I just need to learn how to not give in to that, because it does, your body. I didn't have any adverse reactions this time like I did previously. I didn't suffer physical consequences for it. Well, overtly, right? Something that I could notice right away. Internally, yeah, I'm sure my body didn't like getting that dose of sugar, and it likes it now that I'm, doing more of the carnivore thing. again. So let's see what else. So overall for the 2 carnivore challenge, the total weight loss was 26 1/4 pound. If you want to count that 4th pound. I do, because I made a chart. You know, I've been avoiding, you know, previous to doing the carnivore challenge, I started this walk of life thing where I'm just getting out and getting exercise throughout the week, and been kind of tracking that. Not because I think that exercise is the key to better health and losing weight, but exercise just helps your body in so many ways. Keeps your muscles acting, you know, puts off, you know, a body at rest is not a good thing. And so I just wanted to be active. I wanted it to, you know, make my feet move and my body and get out there and just not be sedentary in my life. And then Big challenged me to the Carnivore Challenge, and I started seeing results. And so, but anyway, the first time I did the challenge and everything, I didn't really want to make it about weight. And I didn't want to keep track of my weight loss. But now that I've done 2 of these and I'm going to continue on, I'm going to start tracking it. So I shouldn't say I didn't track it. You know, I did write down what the weight was, but I find that I made a chart, you know, a table with the weight loss and the percentage lost and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, a chart with the weight, you know, going down. And I'm going to keep that up. And that'll be kind of an inspiration for me to keep going on the Carnivore Challenge. And, you know, if I record my weight every week, and I know weight isn't the only thing, right? You might not lose weight just because you're doing carnivore, just because you're eating right. And I'm probably going to hit a plateau where what I'm doing with the Carnivore Challenge doesn't work for me, and I'm going to have to cut out cheese, or I'm going to have to, you know, whatever. But if I'm eating right, if I'm doing the right thing, then it should all go away. I'm intrigued, I should say, by Big's decision to go all fresh meat. That's an interesting exercise, I think. And I'm interested to hear his results. And I might do something like that down the road. I might do the BBBE challenge that Dr. Berry talks about. That's beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And that's all you eat. You don't have anything else. And that's similar to what Big is doing, where he's just eating fresh meat, no processed meat. But I guess that takes out bacon as well, which I don't know. I wish him luck with that. But yeah, I did notice, as he did, that there's definitely fillers and preservatives and spices that you don't know about. And dextrose is in most sausage or kielbasa or anything like that. And so, which is sugar. And so yeah, I'm encouraged by that, and I'll see how it goes for him, and maybe I'll join him on that quest for just the fresh meat. And maybe that gets me off of dairy or something like that. I don't know. That one's going to be hard for me, really hard to get off, including cheese and cream and stuff like that in my regular diet. But I would have said it was hard for me to give up other things too. So so overall, I know this is going on longer than it should be, but I kind of wanted to give you an overall feeling. So I'm losing weight. That inspires me, but I know that weight's not the end-all be-all of good health. There's lots of non-scale victories that you can count. You know, my pants fitting looser, maybe having to get new pants soon. My belt is down on the last notch. Not needing a seatbelt extension when I'm in my wife's car. Things like that show me that even if I'm not putting off pounds, my body is getting rid of all this excess fat, because it's getting it's getting what it needs, and instead of storing it away as fat. So anyway, I don't need to preach anymore. Yeah, I'm very encouraged, and even more on the track of being a full carnivore now that I've done this challenge twice, and I'm just going to see how it goes, and how I do if I'm not on a challenge where I'm making a video every day, where I'm being held accountable every single day for what I'm doing. I want to see how I can do on my own. And yeah, I've had a couple small failures, I guess you could say, in the week between when I finished the challenge and now, but it wasn't something that rocked me off my scales. I'm going on a travel this week. I'm going to be doing some traveling and being at a conference where there's not going to be great choices, but I'm trying to prep for that. I'm trying to bring things with me that I can always snack on that'll be good. And also, I can always, if we go out to eat somewhere, I can always just order meat. So anyway, I will be back occasionally to report on if Big will have me. I'm sure he will. Not a daily video, but maybe I'll check in every once in a while so that I am being held accountable to a degree. So anyway, talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. It's me again. It's my turn, I guess, to talk about what happened, how it went. And I guess I can talk a little bit about what Marshall had to say. Pretty cool that he got all that stuff going on. 26 pounds, 26 and 1/4 pound. That was if he'd eaten one more 1/4 pounder, then he wouldn't have lost that weight. But since he ate, anyways, I guess I do that too. But mine are in tenths of pounds, not in quarters. I don't get the extra decimal point or decimal place. I don't know exactly how that language works. I'm not a mathematician. Come on. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty impressive. I think that's from the beginning. I think last time around he lost about 15 pounds, and this time another 11. So he's doing pretty well, and that is pretty awesome, I have to say. And he figured out how to do fasting. I think the funny thing is he figured out how most people do it, to tell you the truth. I think most people eat at dinner and they fast during the rest of the day when they're doing. If they do one meal a day, dinner's their only meal. If they're doing, a 6-hour window, then it includes dinner. Because that's when most people eat. I think he was thinking he needed to do it the other way, because that's how I always did it. Because I have a completely different schedule. I work at night, and so I'm not home for dinner, so I don't need to leave space open for dinner. In fact, it's better to not, I find. I'd rather not bring crap to work than bring crap to work. So it's much easier if I just eat while I'm at home and be done for the day when I leave for work. So yeah, he's got it going on though. He's working on it. He's doing it now. He's had himself a little treats. Be careful, Marshall, not to indulge too much. One time I lost, was it 40 pounds, I think, in a weight loss contest. And I won like $200 as part of the weight loss contest. And then I went out and I had pizza, like huge amounts of pizza that night to celebrate my victory. Now, don't do something like that. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Don't get yourself going down the wrong route. Be careful. And the other thing too, bringing in almonds and things like that, and any of the plant materials, just keep in mind, something to keep in mind is nature, like originally, say 5,000 years ago when people first started farming and stuff, how many almonds were they able to eat? It's one of those things that keto people sometimes don't consider when they're eating almond flour things. It's a lot of almonds. And that's only been a thing that's possible very recently, like within the last, say, 50 to 100 years have people been able to eat that kind of almonds. Or other things, anything, spinach, any of those kind of things. Every plant has some kind of self-defense mechanisms in them. And for the most part, they're meant to kill insects because insects are the main predators of plants. So they're not as bad for humans, but only if we eat them at lower levels. If we eat them way significantly high levels, you know, like the level of an almond flour or something like that, or just a huge bag of almonds, you might do some damage to yourself. So be careful not to, you know, to eat too much, and to eat your fruits and vegetables and stuff like that when it's their season, that kind of stuff. Seasonality is actually an important thing in food. So keep that in mind if you downshift into keto, or don't worry about it and stay in carnivore, because carnivore is actual human food. So there's that. Anyways, yeah, Marshall's doing great, and I'm pretty proud of him, and I'm pretty excited for his future. And it's pretty interesting to see him doing so well because, you know, when it came down to it, I was just taking advantage of Marshall. I just needed somebody to motivate me to get going on this carnivore thing myself. And I couldn't do it myself. I couldn't get myself motivated. And so I thought, well, maybe if I just challenge Marshall to a contest, maybe that'll motivate me. And it did. So it worked. So my selfish motives were great. But it's really cool to see him doing really well because of it as well. So he'd lost way more weight than I did. So I guess we can get into that now. Because so far, we've done 2 30-day carnivore challenges. There was 4 days in between in which I also stayed carnivore and did a short little video on that. And I'm going to keep going carnivore from here on out as well. As you know, I've mentioned a bunch of times, and Marshall mentioned too, that I'm going to be switching to fresh meat only. Fresh meat May/June is what we're doing. And that's going to be good. But up until now, I've just been kind of eating anything that is an animal product. Sometimes it's been, you know, bratwursts, or it's been breakfast sausage or hot dogs, or, you know, stuff, a lot of stuff like that, bacon. But I'm going to try and get rid of that kind of stuff. I watched a Kelly Hogan video where she talked to somebody who talked about, you know, reasons why you might not be losing weight. And that was one of her suggestions. Watch out for sausages, because there might be stuff in there that is inhibiting your weight loss.
Some people say they don't lose weight on carnivore, and it turns out they're eating a large amount of what I would call like sort of processed carnivore, lots of deli meats and cheeses, like all day. There's never really like a steak or pork chop. Like if everything comes from the deli, I worry just a little bit. However, I will say, full disclosure, I just had deli meats for my lunch today. Kind of unusual, but I did. But if I have something like that for my lunch, for myself, I make sure to have a fresh meat than for dinner. Do you see people kind of inhibiting their results, you think, with deli meats and cheeses?
Yeah, so I think we're on the same page as this. I always tell people, I definitely think that that's a better option than a lot of the options out there.
Yeah.
I also, you know, tell them and recommend that they not use them all the time, so that in times that they're in a hurry or they've got a lot going on or they need to grab and go, they have those options and they can fill or overcrowd the other times with good quality, you know, real meat, not processed meat, in terms of, like you're saying, you have deli meat for lunch, eat a steak for dinner. And I think people get stuck in, again, you know, if you have to grab and go, those are going to be the best options, but not relying on the things like deli meats and the salami and cheese long-term, because I think that will bite them in the butt and then create more cravings and, you know, not be satiated and that kind of thing.
And I thought, you know, I'm eating a pretty fair amount of sausage, so maybe that's my issue. So I'm giving it a shot, and hopefully it'll be better. I started out this particular challenge weighing 287.4, and then through the time there was a point somewhere in the middle of this where I think I had been eating less sausage, and I was all the way down to like 283, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's finally kicking in. I'm finally starting to lose weight. And then I came back up. And I think it was because I started eating sausage again. I thought, oh, well, I'm having sausage this week, and I had some, and then all of a sudden I was back up. And by the end, I weighed myself at the end, although I don't know what the deal, I've got a weird scale, this new scale that I've got, it thwarts picture taking. It's got some kind of thing in its screen that keeps it so that you can't see the numbers through a camera. I can see them just fine with my eyes, but the camera just doesn't pick them up. It just gets a blue screen and maybe a little bit of numbers around the edges. I tried even doing a video, thinking, oh, maybe the video will get it where the still camera couldn't. You know, it's a rate of frame rate thing, or I don't know what, but that didn't work either. Frequency thing, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that didn't work either. I still got nothing. But I can tell you that scale said 290, like 0.6. So in fact, I actually gained like 3 pounds throughout this second. And I think the reason for that is this stuff that I did at the end where I decided, okay, it's going to be fresh meat May/June. And so, you know, I won't be able to have sausages anymore. And I did that stupid diet mentality thing of, oh, I need to live it up while I can. And so I ate a whole bunch of, I ate sausage every meal. I ate a lot of sausage. I bought like 3 of the pound tubes of breakfast sausage and ate one every day. And, you know, right there at the very end, I gained a couple of pounds just in the last like weekend. So otherwise I think I was doing fine. And I'm sure that's going to come off, I think, when I get going on the fresh meat May/June. So it's going to be good, I think. I'm pretty excited about that. Now, at the end of my last challenge, I took my blood sugar, and it was a reasonable 97, which is, that's pretty good. And halfway through, and this is probably the best point of this last challenge, probably the point where I was down at 283 pound-wise, and my blood sugar was all the way down at 76, which that's a pretty darn good blood sugar reading. If you can be in the 70s all the time, then you're kicking butt. And the next time you go to the doctor, they're going to be like, what are you talking about, diabetes? You don't have diabetes. Look at your A1C. It's 4.1. I don't know how low they can go, but anyways, it's, you know, your doctor's not even going to think you have diabetes if you can hit 70 every time. Probably not even if you hit 90 every time, but 70 definitely. Now, after doing the sausage fest at the end, my blood sugar came back up a little bit. My final blood sugar was 93, which I guess I could say that I dropped 4 points from the start to the finish, but that's not really what we're looking for. But either way, the whole way through, that's a whole month probably. I mean, I didn't check my blood sugar every day because I don't feel that I need to. As long as I'm eating right, I know it's going to be good. And especially now, I've got it all the way down. It was up in the hundreds, 300s or something like that. I've got it all the way down to normal, and it's going to stay normal as long as I'm eating what I should. Even if I ate sausage, it would stay normal. But without sausage, it's going to be 70s, and I'm going to be kicking butt. And so I'm not worried about that. I don't take it every day, but I'm pretty sure that I am in control. And I don't have to worry about diabetes if I keep this up. So that is nice to think about, because I think I mentioned on here when I started this whole thing that I got a friend from high school who was diagnosed with diabetes, I guess a year before me, and he was having problems with his feet to the point where he can't even stand on them anymore. He's got neuropathy to the point where it's just so painful he can't even stand, and he's on disability now, and he's got himself a hospital bed in his house that he can keep his feet propped up on, and I didn't want that in my future. If I'm 1 year behind him, I don't want to be there in a year. So I tried really hard to, put a stop to that. And, one of my nephews texted me just the other day saying that he joined the Wilford Brimley Club with me. He had diabetes, and I told him, get right on the zero carb. Stop eating carbs. Go carnivore if you can, and you know, you can leave that behind and stay carnivore forever, and you'll be the healthiest you've ever been. Because he's always been a really big kid, but you know, if he did carnivore, he would be unrecognizable, I bet, by the time he was done. It would be interesting to see. So we'll have to see if he does that. I don't know, but he says he's coming down, and it's starting to look better. So he's been doing zero carb, and he's really going for it. So that's good. And you know, it's not a death sentence. It's not a progressively worsening disease that only goes in one direction. That crap is BS from the past. You know, you can get better, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm pretty excited about it. And I think I'm just going to step it up this next month, doing the no sausage thing. I think that's going to be even better. I'm going to really get healthy. Maybe I'll start losing weight. That would be neat. But you know, even if I don't, you don't have to lose weight to get more healthy. That's one of the things. You know, there's other things. You know, losing fat is the real kind of goal. You know, you don't. Weight is just pounds. All different parts of you weigh different. You know, they always talk about how muscle is heavier than fat, kind of a thing. So as you put on muscle and you lose fat, you're not going to lose weight. You're just going to lose fat. And sometimes you can notice that in just body redistribution. Like I think I mentioned this last time around, but my belt is gone. I've gone 2 notches down since the start of this. Not this month, but the whole thing. I've gone down 2 notches. I've got some other pants that used to fit me pretty good, and now they're just getting pretty saggy. I have worn them without a belt, but I'm not going to be able to do that for much longer. I'm going to have to get that belt on because they really wanted to fall off me. And my feet used to hurt me when we started up these things, these carnivore challenges. They used to hurt all the time. They would feel like they were just burning and they were hot. And you know, it's neuropathy starting to show up, and that pretty much doesn't happen anymore. It only took a little bit to kind of turn the tide and turn it back in the other direction. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited to be healthy. I want to be healthy, and I'm pretty glad that I'm on the right road. And I feel like as firm in this position as possible. I could not be moved. I'm like a mountain. Not even an earthquake could make me change my ways. Hopefully that's not too, that's not the hubris that sank the Titanic or something. But yeah, I really feel confident in my ability to stay with this. And I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna stay with it, hopefully forever. I think this is the rest of my life. And I'm happy to do it because, you know, I have a friend who he keeps saying, oh yeah, you say you love carnivore. It's like being in prison and saying you love it. It's not at all like that. I mean, he doesn't understand. But, you know, what it's basically like is saying, I'm not a drug addict, or I'm not a alcoholic, and I love it. You know, meat is great. Meat is tasty. Meat is wonderful, and it fills you up. It makes you satisfied so much better than all of the sugar and, you know, flour, wheat-based stuff, gluten crap. Any of that stuff can make you feel. It makes you just feel good, and life is so much easier when that's what you're eating. And you know, there's joys in life, and you know, you can get them by stuffing your face with garbage, or you can go out and live your life and feel those joys. And I think that's a much more worthwhile thing to do. And that's what I would like to be able to do, rather than being laid up in a hospital bed with my feet propped up because I can't even stand on them. So I am excited about how things are going. And I'm going to keep going. I'll be back again with another video in just a short time as I finish up my first week of no sausage, the Fresh Meat May. So we'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching Big Anklovich on health.